DC here. Hi guys and gals. Well, I hope you're all well. It is Wednesday over here, so we're on hump day. Yes, it's all going downhill now towards the weekend. And in our case, we're on vacation from Saturday, so to say. So it'll be pretty good. Let me see, there's people with dogs just walk by, no problem. And here we are. Okay. So I'm just going to try and get on the side. It's kind of busy tonight, isn't it? There's bicycles and people walking and with their dogs and on their own. It's one of the last days. Actually, school starts tomorrow over here. At least grade school does. And yeah. So I was going to chat about something we got last week. It probably was towards Thursday or Friday. Last week we got a notice from family from friends in Oxford. So that their mother had passed away. And it was a family that we knew very well when we were over there, and got me to thinking about quite a few things actually. So I mean, we're talking about 34 years ago, I guess it would be. And where I bring that on is that we were weren't quite 30 yet. So you see, in our late 20s when we were there. So when I think about it, the people, or the lady who was passed on, she was younger than we were. They had a child in her late age, so to say, and he was the one that we knew best. Now, to get us all into context, we knew them through the church that we were at, which was our Brethren Church in Oxford. So we are talking about England here, for those of you who are wondering which Oxford I'm talking about. And there was a youth group. Now, of course, Mrs. DC and I, being in our late 20s and married, were probably considered too old for that youth group. But in a way, we kind of like acted as, I was almost going to say senior mentors or what. I was going to say a youth group that was mixed between rather young up to probably about our age, but there were a few around our age. We were two couples that were actually married that went in that group, like I say, more like mentors. And there were a few older bachelors, if I could put it that way. But they weren't old. I mean, they were like in their early 20s, something like that. And when we would get together, now those of you that have probably been around in Christian circles, and I suppose that a lot of you that are watching this have not been, but some have, is an evangelical church. And we would have regular meetings. Be in the week, we could have 2 services on Sunday, and if there was the youth group, we would often go to these people's homes, and we would sing hymns, for example. I mean, we do a lot of things, but things that come to my mind was the Mr. I can say his name, it doesn't matter, Mr. Blaylock, because they're all passed on. But Mr. Blaylock would play the piano, and we would all get around and sing Charles Wesley's hymns. So those of you who have been to, again, like I say, evangelical churches, but in particular maybe Methodist churches, will know who I'm talking about. It was a great memories. Their youngest child was very noisy, put it that way. But we had, as like I say, these fantastic times. Mr. Blaylock passed away relatively young. We were still there, and we had actually, no, it happened after, sorry, it happened slightly after we left that he passed on, because when we went back to England once at a Christmas period, and we were in another church where they had an evening service on the 24th, Mr. Blaylock saw us and came running in the aisle to greet us back. I mean, we, like I say, we got along well, and it was really very touching, that moment. Over the years, I've brought my two boys back to Oxford when they turned 16. It was part of a, you could almost say Sweet 16 or coming of age present, where I would bring them to England and bring them to Oxford to see where his parents had lived, and it was like a thing that I was doing alone with each boy, and we would go and visit. So each one of them has met Mrs. Blaylock at the time. It's awful dark in this thing. I don't know if it's just the sun or what. Yeah, whatever. And so, you know, I mean, I was just thinking how much has happened in all those years. Of course, the children of them are, the two elder ones are older than we are. The younger one is just a little bit less than us. They're all adults with most probably families and children, because we had lost touch aside from the mother. And it just gets me, you know, saying, you know, when somebody like that passes on, at least they were nice enough to warn us. I mean, the service would have been in September, but we'll actually be away. So otherwise, you know, I probably would have tried to have gone. But if I think about it, of the people that we knew, we're talking about 35 years ago now, more or less. No, most of them, aside from the younger ones, have gone to glory, if we can put it that way. Yeah. No, it's just kind of, you know, it's one of these, should I call it a nostalgic vlog? I don't know what I want to call it, really, in a way, because, you know, it's one of these life moves on type of vlogs. You know, it was still, I mean, going through over these memories and thinking like how was life then. Everything that that we learned living, more or less living with these people, the whole influence of living, it was in a different culture, of course, and yet we were all attached to the same, I was going to say, core values. And you could tell. I mean, there was something, even if you were going from Canada, and in our case, over to England, we had the same core values, and it welded us together. And the last time was like probably, let me see now, 3 years ago, we went back to Oxford, and we met up with some of the people. Actually, Mrs. Blaylock was not feeling well that time, so we missed her. Pity, because finally that would have been the last time. But, and I mean, when we met up, every time we would meet up with them, it's just like you'd feel like we never were away. Of course, we'd give our news, but we immediately felt very much at ease with each other. Nice. You know, that happens every now and then. You meet somebody and you get back with them and bang, it's just like if you've never been separated. Okay, I think I've been talking more than long enough. And it's probably almost a private vlog in a way. I guess many of you won't find this very interesting, but well, that's just it. It's my channel, like we like to say sometimes. So it'll be DC signing off. Take care, everybody, and have a good Wednesday. Bye-bye.